Hey everyone, welcome to another Friday Free Talk. So recently Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced, but with no actual release date in mind. And that got me thinking, since this game will probably actually not be released for a couple of years, did they announce this too soon? The developers came out and said that they announced it this early to kind of avoid leaks, and I guess that does make sense. But I also think that there's a problem with announcing a game this early when you don't even really have sort of any idea of when that release date will be. Now, Kingdom Hearts 4 wasn't the first game to do this. A couple of years ago at E3, Bethesda announced that they were working on Elder Scrolls 6. Just even a couple weeks ago, Rockstar said that they have started development on Grand Theft Auto 6. Knights of the Old Republic remake was showcased at the last PlayStation State of Play. And the list goes on and on and on. And these are huge AAA titles, so people are going to have big expectations for them. Now, once we add in that these games are being announced early, without even really any sort of idea when they'll actually come out, those expectations are probably going to build. The most prominent example I can think of is Cyberpunk 2077, which came out a couple years ago now. But it was originally announced almost like 10 years before the game came out. And doing something like that, I guess it's cool to sort of like build hype around it and let people know that, hey, this game is going to be coming out. But because it had so much time just sort of in the void without any actual, I don't know, there was gameplay footage, but it wasn't exactly in the actual state of what the game was. I mean, you guys know how Cyberpunk released. And during that time, people would just speculate, basically. They would, throw out all of these crazy expectations out there of what they expected the game to be able to do, even things that really developers never actually confirmed that you would be able to do in the game. But, I don't know, just gamers in general, because the game was taking so long to develop, they just figured, yeah, they must be making this game like super crazy, like nothing we've ever seen before. And to be fair, in a lot of ways, Cyberpunk did try to push itself to try things that no other game has done before, but it honestly didn't work out, and you guys know that. And apparently CD Projekt Red didn't really learn their lesson, because they also just recently announced that they are working on the next Witcher game, again without any sort of release window. But whatever, hopefully we have learned to keep our expectations in check. So I'm just kind of curious, what do you guys think of this? Should we wait for games to be announced closer to their actual release window? I think that Nintendo does a pretty good job of this. I know they recently announced the new Mario Strikers game, and it's coming out like 3 months after it was announced. So I think that's, to me, I kind of prefer that, so that way I'm not just stuck in the void, really just speculating and letting this hype grow out of control, and my expectations become really just unrealistic and unfair to the developers. But at the same time, I understand that developers, they want to get the word out there that, hey, we are working on this next game, we're gonna build up some hype around it, I guess to avoid leaks, and I guess really to just sort of shut up fans who keep asking where the game's at. Now keep in mind, this is different than delays. I completely understand delays, and honestly, I think that a lot of games would benefit from being delayed more often, especially with just the way that recent games have been coming out. Another example I can think of is the sequel to The Breath of the Wild, which we still don't really have a title for, but that game was originally supposed to come out in 2022 at some point, and then it got delayed to spring of 2023. Now, this game was also originally teased a few years ago, so people are already, their speculation is running rampant for this game, but I'm hoping that they're still able to keep their expectations in check. Having the delay go in, though, probably isn't helping their case, because now people are going to be speculating even more, wondering, is the game going to be in a good playable state, or maybe they're adding more content to it. And I think that having these games out there being announced but not actually knowing when it's going to be released, I think it's kind of dangerous. I mean, the hype machine, it's not something to mess with, and we've seen that recently with a bunch of games. So I guess I'm just curious, what do you guys think? Would you prefer that games get announced just a few months before they're actually released? Or do you prefer it the way it is, where developers will announce a game that maybe they're even like just starting to work on and it's going to be years down the road? I can understand an argument for either one, but either way, I'm really curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this. Anyway, thanks for listening to my rambling. I appreciate you guys. As always, this has just been a really quick, short Friday free talk. I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great week, and I will catch you on the next one.